Madam Speaker, thanks for your time as always. You said flat out, this legislation is not about President Trump. So why introduce it now?
Well, it isn't about President Trump. It's about the Constitution of the United States, the continuity of government. And again, if it were about Trump, we wouldn't do it, because the fact is this would protect President Trump, because it says it isn't about anybody's opinion of his behavior. It has a formula of healthcare professionals and statespersons chosen equally by Democrats and Republicans, with a strong role for the vice president in what would happen should the president become incapacitated. Why now? Because this is part of our agenda for the people. For the people, we're going to lower the cost of health care by lowering the cost of prescription drugs, and that a bill has been passed by the House. For the people, we're going to increase their paychecks by building the infrastructure of America, and that bill, moving forward, has passed the House. This is our For the People agenda. Clarity in Government, H.R. 1, which has passed the House, but without this. The Constitution in Article 20, in Amendment 25th Amendment, gives Congress the power to establish how this transfer of power would take place. Just envision a situation where a president might become incapacitated, bumping a head, a stroke, whatever it happens to be, even temporarily. This says how the process could go forward. There are other ways to do it within the the amendment, but this one was left blank, the fourth provision of the bill, and we're putting that forth. And we're so pleased to have Jamie Raskin, who is a constitutional scholar, who has introduced this legislation. Actually, he's introduced it a while ago, and now reintroducing it because of so many questions about what happens. What happens? Well, we have a path by way of the Constitution as to what happens.
So to be clear, because a lot of folks are wondering, the Speaker of the House does not think at this point that the President of the United States should transfer power.
No, I do think the President should. That is what President Reagan did. That is what President Bush did. George Herbert Walker Bush, that was President George W. Bush did. But so this is a path on how that can happen further if the president is incapacitated or cannot make a judgment about his own transfer of power. It could be
but you don't think
President
Trump needs to transfer? You don't think he needs to transfer power right now just because
That's not my judgment.
Positive for coronavirus?
That's not my judgment. It's not my judgment. That's why we're establishing this specifically, to have a bipartisan commission to make that kind of judgment. This removes from the discussion any biases that people may have about not liking behavior or comments or this, that, or the other thing. That's not what this is about. This is about the Constitution of the United States. I could go more into it if you wish about how we got here. When President Kennedy was assassinated and President Lyndon Johnson became president, there was no vice president. There was none for that remainder of that term. The Speaker of the House would have become President of the United States if President Johnson had become ill. So in a very strong bipartisan way, the Constitution was amended, passing the House and Senate largely bipartisan, overwhelmingly, and then going out to the states to become part of the Constitution, which then established how you choose a vice president and that the vice president is the successor to the president. And then, because that wasn't even clear then. And then it went further as to how that vice president is chosen, not named by the president, but approved by the majority vote of the House and Senate. Witness the wonderful President Gerald Ford. Minority leader in the House, became vice president and then eventually president of the United States. And then this takes it to the next step as to, at that time, President Nixon appointed Gerald Ford. But if a president is incapacitated, this has a path to have the continuity of government. It's a civics lesson for America, and we can do a couple of things at once. The verdict on President Trump is going to happen 25 days from now at the polls. This is not to take anybody's attention away from the fact that we will have an election and we will have a new president. And this will apply to the new president. If it's President Trump in the next term, or if it's Joe Biden in the next term.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.